shelter in the indwelling Christ within, coming in from the rain. Y'all just got to give me a sec. I just got to sink that in a little bit. Just let me put it. Welcome. Thank you for being here today. The thing I love about Unity, we have all these beautiful, diverse faces. And I love each and every one of you. I'm so thankful that to have this opportunity, because this talk has allowed me to reflect upon the year's journey that I've experienced here. And my human eyes tells me, not my spiritual, but my human eyes has been giving me the message that I've been going through some ups and downs this year. And some of your human eyes have allowed you to come to me and care about me and say, Kevin, are you all right? Kevin, what's going on? And some of you go to others. Is Kevin all right? He's getting awfully thin there. But nevertheless, I appreciate the love, the care, and the concern. So having this talk allowed me to have this idea of travel. So the title of my talk is The Traveler's Journey. Because whether you believe it or not, we're always on a journey. Spirit never stops moving. Therefore, you never stop moving. My acronym today for travel is Truth Revealed Actively, Valuably, Elevating Life. Truth revealed actively, valuably elevating life. And you can replace the life with love, elevating love, or likeness, elevating likeness. Elevating my likeness with the one who is the one. I don't know about you, but my Unity teachings tells me that there is no spot where God is. There is no spot where God is not. So no matter how far I travel, I'm always on holy ground. And when we think about a journey, most of us automatically think about some physical journey. We go here to there. But what I'm talking about today, what I'm going to focus about today, is that internal journey. For without an internal journey, we cannot travel a physical journey. When we focus on an internal journey, our physical journey becomes more peaceful. We feel like we have more control. Is that right? Yes. And it allows us to indeed come in from the rain. Come in from the rain of out of circumstance. Let us for a moment consider the monarch butterfly, one of the marvels of nature. Traveling some 3,000 miles. Some travel from Canada all the way down to Mexico upon their journey. But I submit to you today that the journey of a monarch butterfly of 3,000 miles cannot be possible without it first going within the cocoon to do that internal work, to strengthen its wings so it may have that journey. In order for us to collectively travel to a more peaceful existence as a society and as a loving world coming together, we must take time to individually go within our spiritual cocoons to experience this metamorphosis, this indwelling Christ. But being true students, we know we can do it time and time and time and time again whenever we need it, at a moment's notice. That is the spiritual power that we have. You see, Moses, everybody familiar with the Exodus story, right? Moses, at times, both in Egypt and once they were in the wilderness, had to isolate himself and go within to get away from some of them crazy folks down there. Is that right? Yeah. He had to go within. I like to reference my Metaphysical Bible Dictionary from time to time. And according to the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary, Moses symbolized a progressiveness, a drawing out process, which works from within outward. This is evolutionary law. So in my acronym, I can replace evolving with evolution. Truth revealed actively, valuably, evolving life, evolving love, of all in kindness. Moses fleeing to the wilderness represents a discipline. We have to have discipline to make sure we're at peace when we go through the quote-unquote wilderness. We must undergo what we sought. We must undergo what we seek when we're seeking the spiritual journey. But this story of Moses, what I like most, what the Metaphysical Dictionary has to say about that burning bush, about the burning bush. The burning bush represents the light of intuition or the flame of fire that burns inside your heart. Yet it is not consumed. There is no loss of substance. You see, the flame inside of you, you have a flame, and you have a flame, and you have a flame. That burning bush inside of you, it's on fire, whether you believe it or not. And sometimes it burns you up. And sometimes it aggravates you, because sometimes you know you have to do God's work. And your human self says, I don't feel like it. Right? But the burning bush will never consume you. It only lights you up, it fires you up. The wisdom that comes from the heart is the bush, or the tissue, and the tissue is never consumed. This holy ground of substance and divine mind, when man approaches this flame, he must approach it with understanding, and the thoughts of the absolute must diminish. The thoughts of the physical, he must take that off. You must approach your flame with spirit. The scripture reads, put off thine shoes from thy feet. Relax a while. Just relax in the spirit. For there is a fire inside of your heart. And when we talk about journey, and we have time periods on our journey where we say, yes, I did it. I am there. But one of the most dangerous things upon your spiritual journey, what can happen, is thinking that you have arrived. Because there's goals that we meet, but there's not a necessarily arriving point. John Dewey, a neuropsychologist at the turn of the 20th century, says this: it is better to travel than to arrive. It is because traveling is constant arriving. Traveling is constant arriving, while arrival that precludes further traveling is most easily attained by going to sleep or dying. I don't know about you, but my unity principle suggests to me that we are in the business of living. Y'all know the song, I'm alive with the Spirit of God. I'm alive with the Spirit of God. Woo! I'm alive with the Spirit of God. Now, you know that's my favorite part. I just let y'all sing, and I just say, woo! That's my favorite part. Absolutely. Absolutely. For some of us, when we think about this traveling journey, we think of traveling as getting away from something. I don't like those people at this job. I'm going to give you another job. I'm going to go to Atlanta. I'm going to give you a new job, child, because these people are absolutely getting on my nerves. We quit our job, pack up everything, get a new job in Atlanta, and our boss has the same personality as our boss in Savannah, because we feel like we're getting away from something. Ralph Waldo Emerson says this about the physical travel: traveling is a fool's paradise. We owe it to our first travels the discovery that place is nothing. At home, I dreamed that Naples, I can be intoxicated with the beauty and lose my sadness. I pack my trunk, embrace my friends, embark on the sea, and at last, I wake up in Naples, and there beside me is the stern fact that my sad self, unrelenting, is identical from that which I fled from. My giant goes wherever I go. Emerson says, my giant goes wherever I go. Remember, wherever you go, you are there. And if we have some error thoughts, some error feelings, and we don't let it go, is still there with us. Now it's time for the bad joke of the day. Are you guys ready for the bad joke of the day? You don't know? You don't know? So when I pause, I want you to say, why? Let's practice. Why? My suitcase started crying when I picked it up. Why? Because I was always carrying emotional baggage. Why? That's a good question. Why? Right? And the message for the second why is you don't have to carry that emotional baggage. As bad as that joke is, there's a message in it. Not only are we carrying emotional baggage, some of our baggage is whining out of control. Just crying. Right? Those of us who have kids, even the best children in the world, we've had those experiences where we're trying to get somewhere, and whatever's going on with that child at that time, God bless the children. They just whine. They won't get quiet in that moment. And it's hard to travel when you have baggage that's constantly crying, eating at you. You can let it go. The great thing about children is they grow up and they move on. As far as, but we have, some of us have certain emotional baggage that's latching on us like leeches, sucking us, our energies dry, and constantly crying. Because, and it's not its fault, it's just doing what it do. But we refuse to let it go because there's some emotional baggage. We must let this emotional baggage go. I release, I let go, I let the Spirit run my life. My heart is open wide, I'm only here for God. Thank you for singing that song one more time. Thank you. You know what I did this song? I had no idea she was singing the song today. I was going to reference the song, and I had no idea she was singing the song. That's how Spirit works. I'm so thankful. You see, the issue that many of us have, including myself, when it's time to move on, whether it's physically, let's think about moving from one house to another, one apartment to another, just moving. You got all this stuff. Well, I can't throw that away, even though I have space for it because, you know, my aunt gave that to me 15 years ago. Well, have you used it? No, but I just like to look at it and it reminds me of her, you know? We have to let some stuff go. Because it's a giant, as Ralph Waldo Emerson says. These giants can become the Goliath of our existence that must be slain. This is why I love the story of David and Goliath. 1 Samuel chapter 17, David and Goliath. Again, the revealing word teaches us that the overcoming of Goliath by David illustrates this mastery of the spiritual over the material. Goliath represents the material. David represents the spiritual. You see, Goliath trusted his armor, his sword, which represents the protective power of matter, which is nothing in the spiritual world, and material consciousness. David's spiritual strength had no armor or material protection. His power was gained by trust in divine intelligence. His trust was in divine intelligence, tapping into the Christ mind, through which David saw the weak place in Goliath's armor. And he directed to this weak place the sling of his concentrated will. The slingshot, stone, represents our focusing our concentrated will in the spirit and hitting our target. The question is, are we willing today? Are we willing today? Yes or no? Are we willing today? Yes. Are we willing to take the light of God that's within us and focus our concentrated will? David sent a thought that shattered the forehead of the giant. This shows how easily it is to overcome any seemingly strong or personal or material conditions when the mind of spirit is working in action through us. But we have to have faith. we have to have faith. Martin Luther King Jr. said that faith is taking the first step when we do not see, even when we don't see the entire staircase. Picture that for a second. Langston Hughes talks about this staircase in Mother to Son, speaking as a mother. Well, son, I tell you, life for me ain't been no crystal stair. It had tacks in it and splinters and boards torn up and places with no carpet on the floor bare. But all this time, son, I've been climbing on. Life for me ain't been no crystal stair. Do you start climbing because you feel that the stairs are not perfect? But are we climbing this morning? Are we still climbing this morning? Yes. Are we climbers or are we whiners? Are we grabbing our brothers and sisters by the hand and joining them upon our journeys, our collective journeys that is, step by step, getting to different levels of success? Or are we sitting down on the front step saying, well, Kevin, whew, see what you mean about them stairs. I can't see the top either. I don't know where we're going. I see what you're going through. What type of relationships do we have with our spiritual partners? What type of support system do we have? Is it emotional codependency? Or are we building each other up? Are we saying, yes, I have an idea of what you're going through, but the light of God within you can overcome any of this? Or are we pacifying each other? You see, the late, great Dr. Pat English, she gave me comfort, she gave me love, she gave me support. But one thing she never ever gave me was no pity party. Never no pity party. If she did anything, she gave me a spiritual whipping every once in a while. Like Jesus to the leper. Get up your bed and walk. Young man with all these degrees you have, all this intelligence you have. I understand that them kids are bad over there. But guess what? You have the power to change your circumstances, situations, and environments in which you're in. Okay? Dr. Pat English did that for me. And we love her, and we miss her, and we appreciate her. H. Emily Cady asks this very, very simple question in the first chapter of Lessons in Truth. Bondage or liberty, which? A very simple question. We have the choice to live in bondage, or we have the choice to live in liberty. 2 weeks ago, Reverend Chrissy Snow was here, and I love that woman. She always fills me up with spirit. And in her talk, she's talking about the main point of her message. Then she just threw out a little message that really hit me to the heart. She just threw out a Rumi quote. We cleanse the lens of our own perception. It's like, whoa, what did you say? What did you say? It's funny how you hear a message and something just hits you. And I carried that with me. We cleanse the lens of our own perception. How do we see the staircase? How do we see these so-called challenges? How do we see this journey that we're walking on? Do we see it as an opportunity to strengthen our spiritual legs to move forward? Or we only see it as burden and trepidation? Right? H. Emily Cady, once again, you see, the thing is, we can't forget these principles. Even though, depends on how life goes today, I may forget the principles once or twice a day, sometimes more than that. She says, forgetfulness is the cause of all suffering. Forgetfulness is the cause of all suffering. So we must be ever mindful of our vision, our mission statement, these true principles, and carry it with us day by day. One of my favorite authors is Anonymous. You guys know Anonymous? You guys know, you don't know her? You know Anonymous? And this quote is clinging to the past and living. Clinging to the past and living is like driving forward while looking at the rearview mirror the entire time. Trying to drive forward in your life while looking at the mirror the entire time. Now this brings me to my fictitious story. There was a state trooper, a state officer, on a rural highway waiting for speeders to go by so he can clock them, gotcha, and give them a ticket. Well, along comes this car, puttering about 22 miles per hour, just going slow. And he thinks to himself, oh my goodness, this is just as dangerous as a speeder. Anybody ever been in one of those cars before? Yeah. Right? God, thank you for patience. So he pulls the car over. Whoop, 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 pull the car over. As he approaches the car, he sees 5 elderly ladies sitting. 2 in the front seat, 3 in the back. The driver's calm, cool, and collected. The other 3 are like this. They look terrified for whatever reason. White ghosts. So the driver says to the officer, "Officer, what's the problem? I was not speeding." He said, "Yeah, I know you wasn't speeding, but you're going well below the speed limit." She proudly rebuts him and says, "No, I was not. I was going 22 miles per hour just like the sign said." The officer chuckles. "Ma'am, the sign you probably said Route 22. This is Route 22. "Oh, I'm sorry, officer, I made a mistake." He said, "No problem, ma'am. I'll give you a warning this time. Just pay careful attention." He said, "But before I go, is everything okay in this car? Is everything all right? What's going on with these ladies?" She said, "Oh, they'll be all right. We just got off of Route 119. We must pay close attention. We must pay close attention to the signs. Or it can be dangerous for us and others, as you can see. Are we paying close attention to the signs of our life? See, God places signs and signposts in our lives. So we indeed, when need be, can come in from the rain. We can travel great distance when we come within, like the Monarch Butterfly. We can slay the giants and the Goliaths of our negative thoughts and that's holding us back. And we can continuously strengthen our spiritual leg as we climb this beautiful staircase of called life. For it is your time. It is our time. It is my time. And that brings me to my ending. I always like to end with a poem. It's called, "It Is My Time." For too long I've ignored the signs that within me lives the divine. For no thing outside of me can be in command. Right now, this minute, this second, I stand. Like many earthly saints before my existence, outer world circumstances couldn't shake their persistence. Being an open vessel is how I bring God into fruition. Oh yeah, it is my time. Not listening to negative or pessimistic talk, yet being bold enough to get up and walk down the path that was laid by my good mother, father. If I'm easily deterred, why even bother? To say I want to be blessed, yet living a life of stress. Crying I want a productive life, yet perceiving every issue as stress and strife. No more, no more, for it is my time to live as the I am that I am. Let the blessings overflow like the breaking of the dam. Knowing and understanding the true source of the all. Ready and willing to answer the clarion call. Me against life, that's no longer my struggle. For I choose now to use my spiritual strength and flex my mental muscle. It is my time. It is your time. It is our time. Thank you. Thank you. And now that we understand it is our time, let's take these ideas in prayer. And we want to pray a prayer of thanksgiving. Divine Spirit that flows within. We are so humbly and thankful appreciate the journeys that we're on. The journey that led us to this abundant living unity ministry, where we hear messages of living, not death. We hear messages of prosperity. We hear messages of togetherness and world peace. We are so thankful for that. We are thankful for all the seeming challenges that allows us to gain strength upon our journey. We are thankful for all the beautiful faces that we see every day. We rest in that. We are thankful for the opportunity to continuously come in again and again, so we can renew our minds, our hearts, and that spirit. And in that consciousness of traveling, we say, thank you, God, and so it is.
What the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for everyone. Lord, we don't need another mountain. There are mountains and hillsides enough to climb. There are oceans and rivers enough to cross, enough to last till the end of time. In other words, what the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for everyone. Oh, we don't need another meadow. There are cornfields and wheat fields enough to shout to grow. There are sunbeams and moonbeams enough to shine. Well, listen, Lord, if you want to know what the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for everyone, just for everyone, everyone. What the world needs now is just all of us to know we are one.